everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be sharing a DIY specimen slide, the free SVG that I will have on my blog to make that slide, plus the 2 journal pages that I finished with it. Now first up, I'm going to be working in this handmade notebook. This is one I shared how to make in the video of what to do with your coffee dyed paper. And also you'll see some examples of things that you can add to your gel medium. That video I will also leave linked in the top right hand corner if I can leave link shorts. If not, that'll be over on my channel as well. But today I'm going to be working on this next page and doing that specimen slide. So this journal is filled with quotes. The quote I am using today is from Charles Darwin. It is about change. A little reminder to myself that change is necessary and okay. Sometimes I don't do the greatest with it, but I thought it was perfect to go along with the specimen slide SVG file that I created. So this will be over on my blog for free. You can make it as big or as little as you want, but mine measures 2.5 inches tall by 5 inches wide. I cut that out from craft cardstock with my Cricut. And now I am going to measure that inside area of the window. That's going to allow me to create a background with that purple color. And then I'll just cut it down to size. Now, depending on what size you cut your slide is going to depend on what size you cut that background. So just give it a quick measure. I like to use the Tim Holtz ruler. Very accurate, and it goes from end to end. There is no starting or beginning point. It's from end to end, nothing to remember. So I went ahead, cut that piece of cardstock down, did a little bit of distressing with some distressing. Then I just like to lay it to cover that window, and then I'll just close the back piece right on top of it. So I've got my adhesive exposed, laid it to cover the window, then I'm just going to close it up. That's going to adhere it right exactly where I want it. Great little hack to get those placements perfect. I'm also going to need to cover up that window with a little bit of acetate. Again, cut that down to size, used a little bit of tape adhesive around the edges, and then just place that down only on that top window portion. The bottom portion, I will be adding a little bit of parchment paper. This is just more of a parchment sheet, a writing sheet, if you will, to cover up that bottom portion. Now, the inside, the window, I will be using some dried leaves and flowers. These are ones that I have dried myself from plants at my house. These leaves and the flowers are from a hydrangea bush out in front of my house. So use whatever you have on hand. Maybe you have some dried flowers. If not, there are some great stickers that you can find that you could put in here. You can buy dried flowers, but I'm using real ones that I have pressed myself from my flowers out in front of my house. Just makes it a little extra special. Now I used some tape adhesive to adhere that leaf down. I also just cut it because it was too long. To adhere the hydrangea itself, I will be using a little bit of liquid glue, and I'm using a paintbrush just to dab that onto those flowers. I don't expect this to hold it long term. I just need it to hold it long enough to where it's not going to fall out while I do some gluing. So I'm using a paintbrush, and then I will just place this down right on top of that leaf. I just like to give it a good finger press. To close this up, I'm using some tape adhesive around all 4 edges, and then also because that piece on the bottom where the writing will go isn't going to show behind, I added quite a bit of adhesive on there, and that's where the bulk of that leaf is. So that'll be a nice firm closure on that bottom portion. And I'll just give it a good press. And this specimen slide is almost done. I've got the specimen in there. It's ready to go. But you can do any number of things on this bottom. You can write. I am actually going to stamp the date. You will see how far behind I am on videos when I stamp it. No judgment. And then I also like to number each one of my pages. So I'm using a number stamp and some VersaFine clear ink to just give that a nice little number on the side. Now I am just distressing it up. You can skip this part, you can do it, but there it is on the journal page ready to go. No judgment on the date. So that specimen slide and the quote were the main parts of my journaling pages that I knew I wanted to include. For the background, I like to kind of pull pieces that match and just lay them out as is. You will see throughout this video how often that changes. I really sped this along. My journaling pages take quite a bit of time for me to do. I lay out pattern paper, I lay out different elements, I switch them up, I pull, I put back, I change the orientation, I just keep messing until I'm happy, essentially. So to start off with, I do want to say that everything in here, whether you see me do it on video or not, is more than likely distressed. When I distress, I am using my ink blending tools or my brushes, and I am using the Tim Holtz distressing because that's kind of my go-to. A lot of times I will also ink splatter. When I ink splatter, I am using either distress inks or I am using instant coffee. For the most part, what I am using here, the supplies, I will leave linked on that Amazon storefront, those that I can link. But a lot of this, like some of these maps, some of the book pages, are just random bits that I have found either in books at Goodwill or just from my home kitchen. Those kinds of things. I just keep pulling and pulling, and I just have a collection now, and that's what I pull from. So I don't really have any links that I can leave you to like that specific map page, because the book I got it from is a hunting guide that my husband bought 10 years ago, so it's no longer available. And some of these papers are 10, 12 years old, so there is no linking, but I will do my best. Now, I also knew I wanted to use this corkboard on the bottom. I absolutely love it. I did do distressing on this with inks, but then I also used my needle tool, my poking tool, I guess you could say, from Ranger, the retractable one, and made some holes in it just like you would have on a normal corkboard. So that was a fun little addition. Now, for the rest of this, I am going to just play some music throughout the end of this so you can watch this process. And if there are any pieces that pop up that will be for free over on my blog or that already are over on my blog, I will leave those linked down in the description box below or in the top right-hand corner. popping in very quickly to say that this technique is over on my YouTube channel, again linked in the top right hand corner. The video is how to create your own vintage camera with free printables that you find online. This is the technique in action, something I do a lot of. So if you are curious about how I do this or you want a more in-depth look, go check out that video. There it is. There are the finished journal pages. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and a little bit of a different video from me, if you will. But I really wanted to share how I created that slide, but not bore you with my voice either. So that is going to do it for me today. Don't forget to check out all of the different links down in the description box below. You'll find that free SVG file, a lot more freebies